So welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. Tonight we're very fortunate to have Karina speaking to us. So Karina last year took out the James White Trophy. So the James White Trophy is for new entrants, so people that are entering Iris for the first time, and it is a accumulation of the top scoring. I think it's the top four images for people. There's people coming in again, so I'm just letting people join in, which is all good. So yeah, I think it's really quite so Karina, thank you very much for your time to coming along tonight and actually talking. I think it's quite interesting hearing from somebody that's entered for the first time rather than people that have been entering for years, and just how you found it and the whole process. So I looked forward to tonight's chat actually. So Belinda will probably be asking the questions, so I'll hand over to Belinda now, and we'll get started.
Cool. Kia ora, Karina, and kia ora everyone else. Thanks for coming along tonight. So we've just got a few questions, Karina, just to find out a bit more about your experience in entering the awards. And we'll start off with how long have you been a photographer? Where are you based? And what kind of work do you shoot? So
yeah, cool. So probably been doing it professionally. So for probably maybe 3.5, 4 years now. And I'm based in the rural Waikato, out the back of Huntly, not Huntley, but out the back. And I mainly do families, pets, and I started doing weddings about a year ago. So yeah, those are probably my faves, I'd say.
Great, that's a great range of things. And when did you join NZIPP, and what was your reasons for joining?
I joined just before the Iris Awards last year, so probably maybe just over a year ago now, probably. And I wasn't aware of NZIPP until I had a lady come and do our family photos, and then we sort of got chatting, and she told me about it, and she told me about the Iris Awards, and so I just looked into it more, and I thought, oh, I might as well. It'd be good for networking and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, cool. Had you entered any kind of photographic competitions before, and how did it feel sort of putting your work out there for the first time and hearing the feedback and that kind of stuff? Were you there for the judging live, or did you listen in on the live judging, or?
I listened in, I watched the live judging on the TV at home, and I literally spent the entire day sitting in front of the TV, just like waiting for my image to come up for like 3 days in a row, whatever it was. And I think I caught the last day of the judging. I went down to the conference, and I watched the last day of judging there. Yeah.
Oh.
So what was it like when your first image came up? How was the heart rate?
It was exciting. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was definitely cool. Only like I had heard from some other photographer friends that had entered Iris before quite a few times, and they'd all kind of said to me like the judges are really harsh, it's really daunting, like I wasn't really expecting it to be as nice as it was, I suppose. Yeah, it definitely wasn't daunting, I would say. They were really lovely. Yeah.
And did you get to see any of your images judged live, like in person, or was it all remote for you the first couple of days?
I'm pretty sure it was all remote. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it was all remote. Yeah, yeah.
Do you think there's any difference? Like, well, maybe I'm jumping ahead here on some other questions, but if you're going to enter this year, do you think you would actually go and watch them live?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I probably can't go the whole time just because like I've got young kids. So if I do enter anything this year, if another friend who enters as well, her and I, we've already planned, we're just going to have like a wine and snack day at hers while we watch the awards, so Macadamia, yeah. Yeah.
Cool. And did you sort of, you mentioned you talked to some friends about entering before entering, and, other colleagues. Did you have any kind of guidance or mentoring prior to the awards? And did that help at all, or?
Yeah, so I had a couple of other friends, and then I went to a few like the Waikato Bay Plenty meetups. I went to a couple of those, and I think I took a couple of images there, and they sort of gave me some, some pointers and stuff. And I also spoke to someone else in NZIP, and she was super lovely and super helpful. And I just sort of said, "Hey, like, what do you think of these images? Should I not?" And she sort of gave me some pointers and stuff. So it was really helpful. Yeah.
So I think a few of the groups run critique evenings as well, the different area groups. So they're always really
Yeah,
good
that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah.
have some feedback.
Yeah.
Did you enter digitals or prints?
I entered all prints. Yeah.
Prints, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool to be able to see those prints in person as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So Chris did all my prints for me, and so I didn't see them because I'm in the Waikato. I didn't see them until when I actually got down there with it. So when you actually see them in person, you're like, holy moly, like those are actually so cool. Don't regret doing prints at all. Like, I feel like even now I sort of think, if I hadn't have done prints, would my images done as well as they did? So I definitely, like, if I enter again, I definitely would do prints again. Like, it's definitely.
What was that like being so first time entrant, you're doing prints and you're getting somebody remotely to print them, not seeing them until I suppose after they're actually judged and some up on the wall. What was that like? Like, how hard was that for you to actually, I won't say let go, but to have somebody else have input into your images? And then not see them and not be able to see them beforehand.
That was I don't know. I think I'd sort of got myself in headspace anyway, where I have the worst like, no matter how much I look at my work, I always feel like it could be better. So I think in my head I was kind of like, well, this is my first year, like I'm just gonna go with, like, I watched the Zoom chat that you did for prints, you and Rachel did beforehand. So I watched that and I listened to you guys, and I was sort of like, bugger, I'm just going to do the prints. And I don't know. I just thought, I've seen your work and I just trusted you. I just thought I'll just trust you, I guess, and see how we go. But yeah. And my other friends, they hadn't done prints. They'd all done digitals. And they'd been entering Iris for quite a while. But I'm pretty sure that they're all entering prints this year.
That's interesting. So you made your own, just like, it wasn't advice from other people to say, look, enter prints. It was like you thought, hang on a minute, I'm going to enter prints.
Yeah.
And look, I know we've done some statistics. We've had some statistics done recently through looking back over the last 3 years worth of data and things like that. And there's not a lot of difference overall from an average perspective between prints and digitals. It does vary in some of the categories and things like that. I know a lot of people have the impression that prints score higher than digitals. But statistically speaking, they're all in the same. I think there's about a 5-point range where they're actually in, which is really actually interesting. Although, I think people like to see the prints, like you say, they just look different than the digital. So that's good to hear. I think I won't say a brave move, but that was a big leap there, entering first time, never seeing let's say my work or someone's work of actually how to print them and trusting somebody. Because I think you entered 12, did you enter 12 or 10?
Yeah, I did.
Yep. So a big commitment, and well done.
Yeah, I just thought, oh, well, why not? I did hear, I kind of thought, well, prints, they're up first before, like when they're judged, they're up first before the digitals. So you're probably going to get fresh, the judges are going to be very fresh when they're looking at them. And they're probably not going to be over it by the time they get to the digitals and have seen so many. And then I just sort of thought, well, they get to look at them. Like, I sort of thought, oh, if it's on a screen, if it's a digital, I wasn't actually sure exactly how it worked. So I was like, oh, does that mean that they can zoom in, right in to like scan around, or If it's just a print, they can't do that. They can just look at, this is how it is, you know. So yeah, I think that sort of helped me sway my decision a little bit as well.
And how did it feel when you found out you'd won that award? How did you find out? And yeah, how did it feel?
Well, the friend that I just spoke about earlier, who told me about NZIP, she actually won the award last year, the year before, sorry. So she had told me about it and how that she'd won this award, and I was kind of like, oh, how cool would that be, you know? But in my eyes, her work is like way up there compared to mine, so I didn't even expect it at all. But then when I had got my other awards, you know, for per image sort of thing, I was like, holy crap, these actually did way better than I thought they would. I would have just been, I mean, I had 12 entries and I would have been happy with 1 bronze. So yeah, I was like, when I won that, I was like, what the that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So what were your top 4 awards that how did you score in those top 4 that were taken towards the final result there?
My top 4 would have been I had 1 silver distinction and 3 silvers. Yeah.
Great effort.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
I think I hope Cindy or Chris actually has it, because I don't, but have we got an image of the 3 dogs that won the silver?
Yeah, it was silver. That was a silver, yeah.
Yeah, Chris, are you able to share that from your screen?
Let's go and find it. Hang on, I don't have it here, but I'll go and find it, and we'll get them. Let's if you
Oh.
carry on, we'll get
Yeah,
some of the
sure.
images.
What were the sort of the takeaways or things that you might put into action for this year if you're entering from seeing your images judged in last year's awards? What were the big learnings or things that you?
I'm still on the fence if I'm going to enter anything this year, and it's not because I don't want to, like I definitely want to, but I've just put through for pre-assessment to get accredited. So if I get accredited, I will definitely enter and go down. But if I don't, then I'm sort of like on the fence if I don't put anything in this year, only because I don't want to waste my points. So just in case if I get anything this year, I don't want to waste any points. So if I do it again, I would definitely do prints again. Yeah, that wouldn't change. I think I would stick with that permanently now after doing that once, kind of thing. And I would try to go down to the awards another day earlier, because it would be nice to be able to watch more of the judging in person, kind of thing. Yeah, and I would definitely ask other people for their opinions, I suppose, or their critique, I guess. Yeah.
What would your advice be to someone who's thinking about entering for the first time but is maybe not confident about taking that step?
I would just do it. Like, just have faith in yourself. Just do it. I mean, like, what have you got to lose, really? And yeah, like me, like I have, like I'm super critical of myself and on my images and stuff. So I definitely did not think that any of them were going to do as well as they did. So just do it. It's a good experience as well. So, and it's neat to, like, if you can go down there, definitely go down there, like to meet other people and network and stuff. Is like, I reckon that was really cool too.
Yeah, it's always really interesting listening to the judging, even on other people's images. You know, you learn so much from listening to feedback, and yeah, it's always really, really interesting being in those judging rooms. Quite a different atmosphere as well to watch online. I guess you can feel like you can hide a little bit more when you're watching it online, but doing it in person, sort of, hearing that feedback and seeing the images in person is quite a experience.
I did. I had quite a few other photographers say to me, go online, go onto YouTube and look at last year's awards and the judging from last year's, and you know, the types of images that have been entered from last year. And I didn't do that. So I would definitely recommend probably doing that anyway, because now that I've experienced it, I probably will, like, before I choose anything to enter. I probably will go back and listen to last year's to see, you know, what they said and stuff. So I definitely yeah, that's probably some good advice actually to do that.
Cool. Thanks for that.
I have one of Karina's images here, so let me see whether I can. Now we're gonna technically challenge me for 1 second, but let me see if I can share it. I just saved it. Where did I put it? Now you see I've completely. Okay, 1 second here. Why can't I? Okay. Okay, ask the next question and I'll.
Cool. So, since you've entered Iris for the first time and done really well, has that affected the way you approach your work? Is there anything that's changed as you're sort of thinking about this year's awards? What's your perspective on things versus when you entered for the first time?
Well, I'm self-taught, so all the technical side of things to me that actually meant nothing. So when I chose my awards, my entries sort of thing for last year, there was so many things I didn't actually look at until a couple of friends and stuff said to me, oh no, you can't use that because of, you know, the horizons through the head door, just little things like that. So I sort of feel like I do think about that more now when I'm shooting, you know, when I'm shooting or whatever I do. Whereas before I didn't, you know, like cutting off a wrist or an ankle. What I thought, I didn't think anything of it, but now I do. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good to get those learnings and things that we don't always look at our own work, and we, you know, being self-taught, sometimes you learn as you go too. So it's great to have those colleagues around to help out with those things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And yeah, go into it with fresh ideas for the next year.
Yeah.
How are you going, Chris? Or shall I ask another question?
I'm going good, but I'm just seeing where I share my screen. Share screen. Share screen. Let's go. And if I go like this, hopefully.
Yes. So that was one of your beautiful images. Was this a silver distinction, Karina?
This was a silver. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. It's beautiful. Are you able to sort of talk us through a little bit, sort of how you shot that and created the image, and yeah, any story sort of behind it, or?
Yeah. So I knew I wanted to enter into the animal category, and I had some ideas up my sleeve, and I was like, I wanted 3 or 4 dogs, and I wanted them to be all the same breed, and I wanted them to look all exactly the same, and I had this vision in my head of what I wanted, and then I found this lady, and she had I think it was five dogs, and turns out that this shot here wasn't actually, so she was like, can I get some photos of my other dogs at the same time? And I said, yeah, of course. So, you know, we went and did the shoot, and when I went through all the photos at the end, this shot here was just literally a shot that I randomly happened to get, and it wasn't even the dogs that I wanted in the first place. So it just worked out. This actually just worked out really well. But I do like quite it's not everybody's favorite, but I do like quite high contrasty, bright, colorful kind of stuff. So for me, it had everything I loved in it, I guess, like the dogs, the cut, like it was a bit brighter. Yeah, it was cool. It was quite interesting because there was a couple of the judges that were kind of like on the fence about the tones in it. Whereas there was another one or two that were like really like, this is fine, like this is good. So yeah, it was good. It's good to hear them like sort of argue over it a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, it can be quite subjective sometimes too. So
yeah.
No, that's great. It's a beautiful, beautiful image. I don't think there was.
I was going to say, I mean, I mean, I printed this image, so I've seen it before, but it always gets me, and I just love that ear. On the, I suppose, the third dog on the right hand side, how one's up and one's down.
Yeah.
That just gets me. Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but yeah, and I don't shoot
It's
animals.
that's actually that dog's ear is permanently like that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's easy then.
Yeah. So, but it definitely did look like it was just done on accident. And I think that was what was cool about it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Chris and Cindy, did you have any other questions for Karina? Got any questions in the chat there?
So I suppose one note. So Karina, you mentioned before that you, if you don't get accredited, you might not enter.
Yeah.
Just for people's awareness and everything else like that. So for affiliate members, you can accrue up to a maximum of 5 points, and keep those 5 points before becoming accredited. And I know a lot of people are yeah, they not necessarily struggle, but you get to that point where you've got 5 points or you're close to 5 points and you might have 4 points and things like that. And yeah, they wait around the accreditation. What we normally do though, and if people, we will sometimes look at it at an ad hoc basis. If people get accredited, the first accreditation round after Iris is done. So if you've entered Iris, you've gone over your 5 points, and you'd like to keep them. If you get accredited in the next accreditation round, or come and see us and get accredited in the next term, usually we let those through as well. So we're not all hard and fast on that, but yeah, we like to. You can only keep 5 as per the rules,
Yeah.
but if you get accredited very close to it, then we can look at that.
I did get an after the awards were finished, I did get an email saying that if I got accredited in the next round that I would get to keep those points. But at that point I was kind of like, I didn't know if I wanted to be accredited. I don't know if like it was just at first it was just sort of like fun, but then the more that I spoke about it with other photographer friends and stuff, I was like, actually, no, I really do want to, yeah, to move your way up, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets quite addictive. Like, I mean, and look, I was in a similar boat. So I joined, whenever it was, 2017, I think it was, or 2018. I did exactly the same thing. I joined entered IPP and entered the awards at the same time. And then it was like, oh, I got some points and I did all right. And then it was like, hang on a minute, I don't want to lose these points. So
Yeah.
you follow that. It's sort of a natural progression
Yeah,
when you get
exactly the
caught by
same
that
for
bug.
me as well. Yeah, exactly the same for me.
Yeah. I think last year I with my images I spread them out over a few different categories as well. And if I was going to do that again, so this year I think I'll only focus on 1 or 2 categories rather than 4 or 5 or whatever it was that I did last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Were you trying? Was there a reason why you spread them out?
No, I didn't know about I didn't really know about like you category finalists or anything like that. I didn't really know about that, and I guess I just chose my favorite photos and just thought, well, what categories are they going to fit into, and then just chuck them in, really.
Yep. And for
Yeah.
people that are listening, so category finalists, you have to have are the photographer's top 3 images. So you have to have a minimum of 3 images in a category, right? And then it's the top 3 scoring points for the top 3 photographers. So it's an aggregate of the top 3 photographers of their top 3 images that then go through to finals. Just a little bit on finals judging, just because we mentioned it there, and for people that don't know. So in essence, your print corners come off in finals judging. So judges don't know what prints actually got scored. And inside the finals room, it's judged on a set of images. So it's judged on your 3 images. It's not judged as individually. And so when thinking about, and I know photographers that when they're thinking about the images they'll enter in, they're also thinking about how will their images look as a set of 3. Right, because they're going to be put up as a set of 3 in the finals judging room if they're going to be lucky enough to be one of the finals. So yeah, it's a set of 3. So no, and you get some judges that have never seen those images before. They haven't judged them in the first round. So it's really, I suppose, the initial scores are irrelevant. If you happen to, let's say, have the top 3 scoring prints or entries, that doesn't guarantee you to be the category winner, because your set may not be as strong as somebody else. And they are looking for a little bit of they are looking for diversity, right, inside those finals rooms. So I will stop sharing that image. It's a lovely image though. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Thinking about where your images can sit, and also then thinking about potentially, you could focus more on one or two categories, which are where your stronger ones were, and you may then be in a position to be a finalist.
Yeah. I would definitely do that. Had I thought about that at the beginning, I would have done that last year. Yeah.
How did you find the like, and I know it's daunting, like, the call for entries document, and I think we've tried to make it as small as possible, but it's still something like 45 pages long or 50 pages long, and it's this big document, and it seems very daunting, and the process of actually entering. So how did you actually find the actual process, like the mechanics behind it, of actually physically entering in that big document?
I think I read the document like 5 to 6 times first, because I was so nervous. I thought, if I just stuff up one little thing, then I've just spent this money to enter, and it was just a waste, So I read it so many times, and I still sat on the fence. And I think I actually didn't do my entries until the very last minute as well, if I remember right. More so because it was very daunting. Yeah. But in hindsight now, when I look back, I was like, oh, it probably actually wasn't even that bad. It was probably just me overthinking it because it was the first time sort of thing. But it's actually not that bad. Yeah.
Yeah. You're again in the same boat with just about everybody. So about 95% of all entries come in the last 2 days.
Oh, true.
For Iris. So we sit here from an honours perspective and say, please enter early, because it does help us in the back end, and you don't want to be that person that the internet clogs up or anything else like that, and you leave it to the last minute. But a lot of people do enter it right at that last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes they think they might have a better image as well, right? And they're leaving it to that last bit of time to actually enter. I was in the same boat my first time entering, and I think I actually printed out the document, and I only entered one category and was going over and over again. And it's the same thought. What if I stuff up here? Do I get it wrong and my image gets disqualified and I've wasted time or effort or anything else like that? It does seem like a big document, but the rules, and we have tried to simplify them as every year goes on. There's a lot to cover in the document around, like, points and how to do your files and stuff like that. But each category is actually quite simple, and the rules are actually quite simple. So it was good to find that, I suppose you felt the same as most people, but in actual fact, when actually entering, it was actually a relatively smooth and easy process.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, we have got a bit of time, so I might just fire some questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So have you found that, so has winning the award had any impact on your business? Like, have you marketed it? Do you tell people that you've won it? Do you use it in marketing or on social media or anything else like that?
Yes, yeah. So when I first won it, obviously I shared it on my business pages, on my social medias and things like that. And then I had I had a couple of businesses approach me to do work for them, which was good. And then I had a local newspaper do an article as well, which was quite cool. So yeah. And I definitely, now I can put, when I advertise myself, if someone's looking for a photographer, I can say award-winning photographer, because and that's always handy, isn't it?
It certainly is. Well done on getting local press. That's really hard.
Yeah. No, it was good. Yeah.
What was that like then? Was that the first time being having a story in the paper about yourself?
Yep. It was, yeah, and it was cool. But it was good. Yeah. And that I definitely did get a bit more business through that as well. So it was good.
So yeah. So it's had I suppose, yeah, other benefits or spin-offs for you as well, which is nice. And I suppose that's, you know, it's sort of about what the awards are there to do as well, is to be able to, I think, you know, learn, right, as photographers, and then
Yeah.
also to be able to promote, and obviously help to try and benefit the photographers as well,
Yeah.
that have done well.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I guess when people see that you've won an award, they're like, oh, they must be okay, you know. So and it's the same as when you get accredited, you know, like when you're able to say, like, put the logo on your page, your website and things like that, people sort of see that and then they think straight away, you know, like, oh, this person's accredited, they must be okay at what they do. So yeah, it's good reassurance.
It is. So you're in for the next accreditation round, are you?
Yeah, I just submitted for my peer assessment. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, well, good luck. Not that I think you need luck, but
Thank you.
Where else will I go here? I'm just seeing if there's any other questions in the chat. Cool. Was there any did the judges make any on your images? So any comments that and pick up on things that you hadn't thought about?
Yeah, definitely. A few that I kind of knew that they would pick up on, like just like things that like some other photographer friends had said, you know, like highlights, whereas being self-taught for me, the sun in the background, oh my gosh, I love that because I love that those rays, and you know, but technical wise, it's not good. So there was just a few little things like that that they had pointed out, and I was like, oh well, I knew that was coming anyway, so it wasn't I wasn't too fussed about it. But yeah, I guess, and I suppose there was little things that they were like, oh, this shouldn't be here, or this, or whatnot. I can't even remember exactly what it was now, but I remember at the time thinking, well, there's a reason why that's there, you know. So it's a bummer sometimes that you're not able to explain why the image is the way it is, you know, like, and I know for other friends as well, it's the same, you know, like you'd look at that and you'd go, oh, that's a really good shot, but this and this. Well, there's a reason why they've done that, but you can't explain it, you know. So I guess it's just you think
about the judges finding that story and how it speaks to them.
Yeah.
So we had a question here, it's just asking, which categories did you enter last year? I know one of them was animal.
Yeah. Animal, family, landscape, and portrait open, but it was actually supposed to go into portrait, and it went into portrait open instead, which I don't know. I think I'd stuffed that up somehow, but that was okay. And also wedding open.
Oh, so you entered 5 categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did spreads. So how did you decide which ones to actually put them into, or did you pick your best 12 images or 10 images and go, oh, this one fits into this category, this one fits into this category, or did you think I want to enter this category, and then, you know, how did you work out how they went and where they went?
No, I just picked my favorite images and then I just put them where
Oh yeah, and
where they should go.
You said that you probably wouldn't do that again if you were going to enter. So which categories would you pick?
I would pick family and animals, probably. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And are they your main is that your main business, or are they your main passions? Why family and animal and not landscapes, portrait and weddings?
I wouldn't say I mean, it might be my main business. Families probably are. But it would definitely be my main passion. Yeah. And I've got like you know, like ideas in my head where I'm like, oh, I would love this kind of shot. So I just, you know, or I'd love like this sort of shoot, to do this kind of shoot. So I just sort of
So you're thinking about so after entering, so the first time you're entering, I'm assuming you went and picked images that you'd already shot and already had.
Yeah.
And are you now thinking, oh, I'd like to do this for the awards? Like, I'd like to be able to capture this for the awards?
Yeah.
And thinking about what you actually want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your head full of hundreds of images that you want to capture?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's still images that I'm like, oh, I'd really like to get this, I'd really like to get that. But I'm sort of running a little bit short on time now. So I'll just see how I go. But I mean, I've got a really good friend and she's had her images picked for ages. And I even said to her, like, how have you already chosen your photos? And she's like, well, I've chosen them, like she thinks about it from the time the last Iris Awards have been done. She's already planning the next ones, and that's actually a really good idea. I wish I was that organized.
Yeah.
When kind of shooting client work and you maybe have images like that, it's a really good idea to have a folder in your computer and you can pop all those
Yeah,
images there, and then you've kind of got something to go to when it gets closer to Iris if you're not going out shooting things specifically for the awards. It gives you a bit
yeah,
of a starting base. And
yeah. Well, that's what she does. But I'm like, in my head, I think I see these photos that I do, and I look at them and I don't feel like those are Iris images, I guess. So, and yeah, I mean, I think that they're good and my clients love them, but I don't feel like they're Iris images. And so then I think, oh, I have to do better. I have to do better. And then it gets closer and closer to the time and I'm running out of time and I still haven't done better. But they probably are. I mean, I probably do have shots that are fine to use, but yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know.
So do you find that, and again, I think this is just a nice progression in learning that you're planning on entering work specifically for the awards. It's not necessarily the client work and the work that the client buys, or are they two of the same?
It's 50-50, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 50-50. I mean, for family, a lot of my images that I do that I have in my head and I think, oh, I'd love to have that shot. I do my own children or my nieces and nephews or our own animals with the kids or whatnot. And in family, you can't enter your own family or immediate family as well. So it makes you, so basically I have to use my clients. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, there is still time. I think entries close. I think we've got 1 month and 3 days to go.
1 month tomorrow.
1 month tomorrow. Okay. I keep on looking. I look daily at the entries that have come in, and it tells you on there how long it's got to go. So, but yeah, there's a month to go. So I do implore people that if you've got your images, get them in early, and don't wait till the last weekend like 90% of everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at if there's any other questions in there. Okay, nothing else in there. Linda, do you have anything else to ask? I think.
No, I've got nothing to add. I think it's been a really, really good insight into a first time entrant and the whole experience, really.
Oh yeah, someone's just asked about if they want to use the print service, how long does it need? How long do you need? So in essence, the way the Iris system works is you enter your images, you'll enter them into Award Force into the system, and you'll put a digital image in, right? And then I think it's actually about 6 weeks between the cutoff date of when you're entering your awards and when the print images or judging actually happens. So it's in that period of time that printing can get done. In saying that, I've already got clients now who are sending me images to get printed now, and they haven't even entered. So it doesn't actually you can print afterwards. You can make slight alterations to your images from a printing perspective. You can't obviously change anything or any of the elements or colors or tones and things like that. We can just make slight adjustments from printing and printing on paper after the actual entries have been submitted. But yeah, most people will work with a printer after the fact of the entries have been submitted and have been entered into Award Force, and then after that, using that 6-week period to actually get their prints done and off. If you're using, so this year, for the first time, NZIPP has got a printing service. So when you're going in through Award Force, you can say, I want the full package, which will include your entry and your printing. They will also then get delivered directly to directly to Christchurch. They'll get managed down there and then either couriered back to you, or you can pick them up from Christchurch, so you don't worry about that. So you'll be in the same boat as Karina was, in the fact where you will not see your prints until they are actually get there, or you get them back, or you see them up on the walls. So you can, if you're wanting to, if you're using any other print or anything else like that, you can get them directly sent back to you, and you can send them to Christchurch. That's perfectly fine as well, but you a little bit more time. But most people work within that 6 weeks after the entries have been submitted into Award Force. And if you're using the full service, yes, you will need to send a print case to the printer so that they can package them up and send them away. Or if you haven't got a print case, you can purchase one from using the full service. There's an option in there as well. Yeah. And that's mainly for so they don't get lost or damaged, and somewhere to store them. It's amazing. I was working out the back for the first time last year, and just to see all of the prints and just trying to manage all of the prints. And if you don't have print cases, especially at the end of when they're going back into print cases and being sent away or back, it's just a nightmare. I think there was 2 people last year that didn't send anything with their prints, and they wanted to pick them up, but it was just a nightmare because they were loose lying around. So you need a print case. You can either purchase them or you send them to your printer. Yep. I think that's covered all of those questions that are in there. For people that joined late, there was a couple of people that joined late and missed we were recording this session, and we will put it up online. And I'd like to, unless there's any other questions, I'd like to just thank Karina. I think, coming on this call, being a first-time entrant last year, and talking through this process is pretty, I think it's pretty, I won't say brave, but thank you for taking the time out and doing it. Hopefully the questions weren't too gnarly. And I think that I think it's I think this is valuable information and valuable learning that you went through for people who are entering the first time. So thank you for sharing your information and your journey and process. And congratulations. And I wish you all the best for your accreditation and for this year's awards.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. And we'll see you all in Christchurch.
Cool. Thanks.
See you.